number of hallucinations you get out of an LLM is not very high. Generally, when people test this, OpenAI's models are sitting around 3.5. Gemini seems to be the worst at the moment with about a 6%, if I remember correctly. Claude seems to be doing pretty well in this space as well, but that's kind of the numbers. If you type something into one of these language models and ask it, you'll probably get a hallucination 1 in every 20 times. Now, if you are training up a model from scratch, if you can get to 95% accuracy, you're doing pretty well. And getting up to 96.5% accuracy, that's doing extremely, extremely well. So unless you're putting a lot of effort into your custom-made model, you're probably going to hallucinate less from an LLM just going off into la-la land than the mistakes your model will make because it doesn't have enough training data. Why is that? Well, it's the bitter lesson playing out again and again and again. You want to put all this work into your custom-made model. Well, even if it wins today, in 12 months' time it probably won't win. And the other one is it's kind of economies of scale. If you're solving one problem for one task right now, you aren't putting in the same amount of effort as Google is putting with 100,000 engineers. Not that those 100,000 engineers are all doing machine learning and not that all of them are very competent, but they can throw an awful lot more resources at their problems than yours, and if your problem is just a tiny little pimple niche on the side of the big problem, then they will outspend you in terms of personal effort and so on. The counter-argument on this one is hallucination is actually a bigger problem than an incorrect prediction. The reason that a hallucination is a bigger problem is that the more wordy something is, the more believable and intelligent it sounds. So if I generate from an LLM a long, detailed explanation of why whales are actually fish, it's probably believable. People might run with that and go, well, I learnt it all about, the fact that they swim in water and stuff like that. Whereas an incorrect prediction that says, well, based on the fact that it's in water and it eats plankton, I think it's a fish, people are more willing to say it's wrong because there's less to it. We know how to fix incorrect predictions and we don't know how to fix hallucinations. So yeah, great, hallucinations are sitting about 3.5%. I can put effort into my model and I can get ahead of the model by just keeping on fixing and fixing and fixing incorrect predictions, giving it more training data and working with it. So for the benefit of the recording, the question was, it's Jepsen, isn't it? The CEO of NVIDIA said, hallucination's not going to be a problem in the future. I don't know. We have seen that hallucinations a year ago were a much, much bigger problem. A year ago, you could ask ChatGPT, so which is heavier, an elephant or 20? And it would say, oh, an elephant is huge. It's much bigger than 20. Oh, which is bigger, a mouse or 20? Oh, 20 is much bigger than a mouse. It would say these kinds of things, and then the reinforcement learning from human feedback over the last, every fortnight for the last year has weeded these out so it doesn't hallucinate anything like what it did before. So if we project that forward, what would hallucination be like in a year or two's time? He may well be right that it may be down to almost nothing. I would believe that. I would believe that this number is going to shrink, which means that the amount of effort you need in order to get a model that beats the hallucination problem will have to be even better. The threshold might be your custom model has to be 99% accurate in order to beat the LLM that's only hallucinating 0.5% of the time. That, if Jepsen is right, then the LLM errors are rare, is even more compelling in the future. Will we completely eliminate hallucinations? I don't think so, because an LLM doesn't have a concept of truth, as far as we can tell. So it doesn't know that it's lying to you. So how do we make it not lie when we're asking it questions that are often fantastical, fictional, or exceptional? I don't know the answer. At the moment, what I find is it's very rare to be able to beat the hallucination threshold. If Jepson is right, it'll be even harder in the future. So maybe Jepson's right and hallucinations are not going to be an issue when we won't have to worry about it. But if it hallucinates once in a million times, so what? This is a university campus. We all admit what drugs we've taken. I won't ask how many people in the room have hallucinated 1 in a million times.